Everyone knows the German Kar98k is a legend. But what if I told you that the Wehrmacht favorite alternative was actually a Czech rifle that many people argue is even better built? Today, we're looking at the VZ24, the short rifle that was cool years before the Kar98k. Stick around to find out. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Tennis at the Range. Today we're going to talk about the VZ24. For those who are new to the channel, I'm a French firearms enthusiast with a passion for practical shooting. I also have an Instagram at Dennis at the Range, so make sure to follow me on there too. Let's start with some context on the brand behind the VZ24. The rifle was produced by the Czechoslovakia Zbrojovska, I hope that's how you say it, often abbreviated as CZ, specifically at their Brno facility. Czechoslovakia formed after World War I in 1918 from the remnants of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. The Czechs quickly needed to establish their own arm industry to equip their new military. The Brno Arms Factory was ramping up production of military firearms by the early 1920s. Since they focused on high-quality manufacturing, they became renowned for their bolt-action rifle, and their products were exported worldwide. This helped to build Czechoslovakia's reputation as a major arms producer in the interwar period. Diving into the history of the VZ24 itself. The VZ24 stands for Vzor, I think that's how you say it, 1924. This means Model 1924 in Czech, but I don't speak Czech. It was developed in the early 1920s, obviously. The design team took inspiration from the proven German G98 and made it shorter, lighter, and more maneuverable for modern warfare. Development began around 1922 to 1923, and by 1924, the VZ24 was adopted by the Czechoslovak army as their standard infantry rifle. The rifle was about 43 inches long overall, with a 23-inch barrel, weighing around 9 pounds unloaded, making it more compact than the full-length Gewehr 98. Production ramped up quickly with over 700,000 units made between 1924 and the late 1930s. The VZ24 was a hot export item. Countries like Romania, Yugoslavia, China, Brazil, and even some South American nations adopted variants. Germany's access to the VZ24 came from the geopolitical events leading into World War II. On March 14, 1931, Slovakia declared independence from Czechoslovakia, establishing the Slovak Republic under President Joseph Tiso. It was a fascist-leaning government that quickly allied with Nazi Germany as a client state. This split occurred one day before the German forces occupied the remaining Czech territories, Bohemia and Moravia, on March 15, 1939. Germany did not occupy the entire original Czechoslovakia. Slovakia remained nominally independent, but closely tied to the Axis powers. This division affected how Germany acquired the rifles. The Brno factory fell under full German control. The Nazis seized existing stockpiles of VZ24 and continued limited production, redesignating their rifles as the Gewehr 24T or G24T. The T stands for Czech. I don't know how you speak German, so the T stands for Czech, basically. As this specific rifle was in the Allied Slovak Republic, Germany approached acquisition differently. Rather than outright seizure, they conducted a proper business transaction, purchasing a significant controlling interest, but not the entire company, in what became known as Waffenwerke Brno. The factory, previously owned by investors and partially by the Slovak government, was already producing VZ24s. Under German influence, it adapted the design slightly for compatibility with the Wehrmacht's standards. Changes like side-mounted sling swivels, a cross-screw barrel band retention, which we're all going to look over right now. So here we have the VZ24. This was a specific front sight for this rifle. So the front sight here, you can see that there's little protective ears to protect the front sight post, but it doesn't go on top. So this is just particular for this rifle. And then when we go a little bit down, we have the cleaning rod, which is typical of a Mauser. Normally, when you take out the cleaning rod, you take this out, and you needed two to clean the rifle. So since the soldiers were usually in units, it didn't really matter because they were always in two. You just assemble this and clean the bore of your rifle. We also have the bayonet mounting over here. So here we have the bayonet, which was specific for this rifle. Normally it goes here. I'm not going to put it because it doesn't really fit this specific example. We have the CSZN on this side, and here we have E, a small symbol of a lion, and a 26, which we're going to find right here when we look at the upper receiver. These rifles were made with exceptional quality. The Wehrmacht actually loved them for two reasons. Mainly because they needed guns and because this one was very high quality. I think this is called like a barrel clamp thing, which is very high quality. If we go a little bit down, we have the sling attachment, which is milled, very nicely made. And it's this swivel part right here that we have. Going down a little bit more, we have the rear sight. So this is a tangent rear sight. What's unique of this one compared to the normal Mauser is that this one starts at 300, whereas the Mauser would start at 100. But it's very similar, where you pinch both sides and pull. This one goes all the way up to 2 kilometers, so we see 4, 5, 6, all the way to 20. And you know this is a Czech rifle because they used to put the screw for mounting the sight right here, which is the same as what the 3340 has. The VZ24 has a barrel length of approximately 590 millimeter, which is 23.2 inches, and it makes the total length of the rifle about 1100 millimeters, which is 43.3 inches. The barrel has 4 grooves with a right hand twist, and it has a rate of about 1 to 9.5 inches. So it stabilizes the 198 grain boat tail bullets, very typical of the 8mm Mauser. Then when we come down a little bit more, we can see on the side VZ24. On the top we can see the factory this was made in, which is Czechoslovakia, Zbrojovka, Brno. This is still a classic Mauser action gun. However, the bolt handle over here is straight compared to the Kar98, which is a little bit bent. So to disassemble, it's the same thing. You close the bolt, put the flag on top, pull back, and then just the action comes out. So there's nothing crazy about this one. It has the 5-round internal magazine that is fed with stripper clips, and you can push all the way down here. Then we have the regular trigger over here, and if we look a little bit more to the back, we can see that the Germans actually added this, and this was made to disassemble the bolt a lot easier. So again, this is a Mauser, so to disassemble the bolt you put here, you twist it, you take this out, and then you grab your firing pin, you push down, you twist like that, this comes out, and again. So this is something that the Germans added. Now the Germans actually stamped some parts of this gun, like here, over here we can see that there's the German eagle, but they didn't really take care of stamping all the parts because there wasn't time and energy. Actually, on this firing pin we can see the Z, which is typical of Czech Mausers. In the back we have a sling swivel, which is not typical of the Mausers. The Mausers normally have a cut out over here. But that's just the way the Czechs did their rifle. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Quick reminder to follow me on Instagram, and until the next one, Dennis out.